I have been an instructor at Verith Station Interstellar Combat Academy for 19 cycles. 19 cycles. In that time, I have trained warriors who could crush reinforced metal with bare hands. I have trained strategists who could predict battle outcomes faster than our systems could compute them. I have trained cadets whose minds worked so fast it felt like they were thinking ahead of reality itself. So I thought I understood talent. I was wrong. I had not met Dara Vasquez yet. And that, as it would turn out, was my biggest mistake as an instructor. The new cadet intake arrived on Verith Station during a cold morning. Although cold is a strange word here. The station controls its own climate. So every morning is carefully engineered to feel uncomfortable enough to build discipline, according to the engineers. I have complained about this 7 times. No one has responded. That alone tells you everything you need to know about this academy. The cadets entered the docking hall in groups. The Vorkai came first. Loud, heavy steps. Laughing too loudly. One of them nearly broke a loading drone just by bumping into it. They always arrive like they own the place. The Venali followed. Quiet, sharp-eyed, already asking questions. Schedules. Training load. Food quality. Efficiency reports. Always thinking ahead. Then came the Sifin. Silent. They do not waste movement. They do not waste words. They just observe everything. And then, humans arrived. Dara Vasquez walked in the middle of them. Not in front. Not behind. Exactly in the middle. That was the first thing I noticed. She carried one standard issue bag. Nothing special.
No markings.
No extra gear. Her dark hair was tied back simply. Her eyes moved slowly across the room, like she was memorizing it piece by piece. But her face showed nothing. Not fear. Not excitement. Not curiosity. Just calm silence. That kind of expression is rare in new cadets. Most arrive either nervous or overconfident. She arrived as if she already knew how everything would end. The Vorkai were still arguing loudly about bunk assignments. The Venali were already calculating training efficiency. The Sifin were already watching everyone without moving. And Dara Vasquez? She just stood there. Still. Quiet. Observing. I called roll. When I said her name, Dara Vasquez, she answered simply. Here. That was it.
No emotion.
No extra words. Just here. Then she stepped away and chose a seat in the back row. I did not assign her there. She chose it herself. At the time, I thought it was hesitation. Later, I understood something else. The back row is where you see everything without being seen. Hunters understand that instinctively. My colleague, Instructor O'Vellon, leaned toward me. His voice was low, as always when he thought something was obvious. The human will fail within 3 weeks. I nodded. I had 19 cycles of experience. So I nodded. And just like that, the intake was complete. The cadets settled into their first night on Verith Station. Most talked too much. Some planned too much. Some stayed silent but tense. But Dara Vasquez? She did something I only noticed later. She watched everything. The walls. The exits. The layout. The movement of guards. The rhythm of the station itself. Like she was building a map in her head. Without asking a single question. That night, I made a note in my report. Human cadet. Unremarkable. Possibly reserved. No immediate concern. I closed the file. And I moved on. Because at that moment, Dara Vasquez was just another name in the intake list. A quiet one. A forgettable one. Or so I thought. Physical assessments began on the 2nd day. This is tradition. 1 night of rest. 1 morning of calm. Then the academy removes any illusion that comfort matters here. Strength. Speed. Endurance. Reflex. Pain tolerance. Everything is measured, ranked, and published across the cadet network. Not for fairness. For pressure. Because nothing reveals potential faster than watching where you fall on a list everyone else can see. Dara Vasquez did not stand out. At least, not in the way the academy expects. No record-breaking numbers. No dramatic failure either. Just Average results. And in this academy, average is the same as invisible. Strength test. She placed 14th out of 19. The Vorkai took the top 3 positions, as expected. One of them, Rex Tolan, lifted a load so heavy it caused the sensor array to glitch for half a second. He celebrated loudly.
As Vorkai do.
The sound echoed through the chamber like a declaration of victory. Dara did not react. Not even a glance. Speed test. The Venali dominated. Clean, precise movement. Perfect timing. Sovriel finished first by a wide margin. Dara placed 11th. Still nothing remarkable. Reflex test. She placed 9th. Again, middle tier.
No alarms.
No concern. No attention. But then came endurance. And something changed. The course was designed to break rhythm. Long distance.
Variable terrain.
Controlled exhaustion. By the end, most cadets showed clear fatigue markers. Breathing unstable. Movement slowing. Muscle compensation visible. Dara Vasquez did not change. Not once. Same pace. Same stride. Same breathing pattern. Same expression. Still nothing. Still quiet. Still unreadable. One monitoring instructor wrote in the log. Human cadet displays unusual pacing discipline. Possibly undertrained. Possibly conserving energy. Monitor. The report was filed. And ignored. That should have been the end of it. Just another average cadet. Another name in the middle of the rankings. But small inconsistencies do not disappear in military systems. They accumulate. Quietly. In the barracks that night, the cadets talked. Not harshly. Not seriously. More like background noise. Dismissive humor is a common language in first-week survival. The Vorkai called her the quiet one. Not as praise. As dismissal. She did not respond. Not even when they said it in front of her. A Sifan cadet, called Rev, started calling her meals human fuel rations. The others laughed. Dara ate in silence. Every time. No reaction.
No correction.
No resistance. Then there were her habits. Strange, but subtle. She slept in short cycles. 4 hours. Wake up. Sit on the edge of her bunk in the dark. Staring forward. Then lie back down. No speaking. No movement. Just stillness. One cadet finally asked her, "What are you doing?" Dara answered simply, "Thinking." About what? She paused. The building. That was it.
No explanation.
No follow-up. The cadet did not ask again. At the time, most assumed it meant nothing. A human coping habit. Stress behavior. Confusion. A lack of adjustment. No one considered the possibility that she wasn't confused at all. She was mapping. Every corridor. Every exit. Every structural path. Quietly. Methodically. Without telling anyone. By the end of week 1, the conclusion was simple. Dara Vasquez was harmless. Unremarkable. A cadet who would not survive long in real evaluation conditions. I agreed. I had 19 cycles of experience. So I agreed. And then came week 2. And the first combat simulation. Where the academy stopped testing strength. And started testing survival. The first major combat simulation began at the end of week 2. It was designed to overwhelm. That was the point. Hostage rescue. Heavy simulated fire. Limited cover. 3 enemy units for every rescue squad member. Not to see if cadets could win, but to see how they fail. Because failure always tells you more than success. Dara Vasquez was assigned to Squad 3. 5 cadets total. Rex Tolan was also in that squad. That alone should have been enough to make things unpredictable. But what happened was something else entirely. The simulation began. Immediately, Rex Tolan did what Rex Tolan always did. He charged forward. Loud. Direct.
No question.
3 simulated hits in under 10 seconds. His suit marked him as critically wounded. He was still in the exercise. Technically. But barely. And he continued moving forward anyway. Just slower. Another cadet tried a flanking maneuver. It was smart. It was also incomplete. They didn't account for a second elevated enemy position. He was eliminated in under a minute. SciFi Realm moved efficiently. Clean suppressive fire. Strong positioning. She was holding the squad together. Barely. And Dara. She stayed behind the main engagement line. Watching. Not panicking. Not rushing. Just observing the battlefield. Like she was reading it instead of fighting in it. At the observation deck, Instructor O'Vellon spoke quietly. She is afraid. I asked why he thought that. He said, she is not advancing. That was his interpretation. Fear equals hesitation. Hesitation equals weakness. That was the standard model. He was wrong. But we did not know that yet. Dara moved. Not toward the enemy. Not toward the hostages. But sideways. Along a forgotten edge of the map. A maintenance corridor. Hidden in the briefing documents. Mentioned once. In a footnote. No one had paid attention to it. Because cadets never do. They focus on the obvious paths. The visible fight. The center of action. Dara crawled through the corridor. Low clearance. Restricted movement. Her suit registered a wound on her left side from a simulated hit. She adjusted. And kept going. Slow. Careful. Unhurried. On the main field, chaos continued. Gunfire. Movement. Noise. Distraction. Everything pulling attention forward. Exactly where it was supposed to go. Dara exited the corridor behind the enemy's secondary position. She did not attack immediately. That was the surprising part. She paused. Calculated. Then made a decision. She did not try to win the fight. She tried to change it. She activated a non-weapon system. Emergency signal emitter. Not listed as tactical equipment. Not designed for combat use. A distraction tool. A simple pulse of sound. 4 seconds. That's all it created. 4 seconds of confusion. Enemy units turned. Attention shifted. Positioning broke. And in those 4 seconds, SciFi Realm moved. Rex Tolan advanced. The hostage position collapsed. 3 hostages extracted. Dara was eliminated 7 seconds later. Tagged out. Simulation ended. Partial failure recorded. On the scoreboard. She ranked last in individual points. Again. Nothing impressive. Nothing official. Nothing that mattered, according to the system. But something was wrong with that conclusion. And I felt it. Even if I couldn't explain it yet. After the simulation, Instructor O'Vellon spoke first. She got taken out early. No impact on outcome. That was the official interpretation. I looked at the replay. Then at the maintenance corridor. Then I wrote one line in my notes. Observe Vasquez closely. O'Vellon saw the note. He asked, what is there to observe? I didn't answer. Because I didn't know yet. But I could feel something forming. A pattern. Not in the results. In the decisions. And Dara Vasquez had just shown something the Academy had not trained for. Not strength. Not speed. Not aggression. Understanding .by Week 3, the Academy had already decided what Dara Vasquez was. Average. Maybe slightly underwhelming. A cadet who would survive training, but never lead it. That was the consensus. And once the Academy decides something, it tends to stop looking closely. That is where mistakes begin. But the pattern was already forming. Just not in the way anyone expected. In individual tests, Dara stayed exactly where she always was. 13th. 14th. 15th. No improvement worth noting. No decline either. Stable. Predictably unremarkable. And that was the problem. Because war does not reward stability. It rewards adaptation. Then came group scenarios. And everything started to shift. Quietly. At first. Week 3. Urban breach simulation. 4 squads. 1 objective. Controlled building entry. High complexity interior layout. Close quarters engagement. Dara squad completed the objective in the second fastest time. Not first, but close enough to matter. Rex Tolan took credit for it. Loudly. As usual. Nobody corrected him. Because his actions were visible. His charges. His movement. His aggression. Everything the Academy understands. But Dara's contribution was different. She had said one thing before the simulation started. Don't enter from the ground floor. That was it. She suggested the rooftop. A weaker point. Less defended. Less expected. And everyone followed. Inside the simulation, she did not lead by force. She led by structure. Angles of fire. Movement timing. Spacing between units. Small corrections. Constant adjustments. No one noticed them as leadership. But they were. The squad moved like a single system. Not because they were trained better, but because they were positioned better. Week 4, Communication Disruption Exercise.
No comms.
No coordination systems. No command link. Only visual contact. Only instinct. Most squads failed early. Confusion. Separation. Mistakes stacking quickly. Dara's squad finished first. By 9 minutes. The difference was not speed. It was structure. Dara created a signaling system using reflective panels from the environment. She didn't ask for tools. She didn't wait for instructions. She just used what existed. 7 distinct signals. Created in under 8 minutes. Understood immediately by her squad.
No confusión. No delay.
When I reviewed the footage, I paused the recording more than once. Not because it was complex, but because it wasn't. It was simple. Too simple. And yet perfect. I wrote another note. Vasquez, not unremarkable in group dynamics. Instructor O'Vellin disagreed. He said, she will never rank above average individually. I asked why. He said, because war is individual. That was his belief. But I was no longer fully convinced. Because I had seen something in the maintenance corridor. And now I was seeing it again. In every group scenario. Then came something else. A moment that should have been meaningless. But wasn't. During a tactical briefing, Rex Tolan made a comment. Human military history module. Usually ignored. Mostly background noise for cadets. He said, humans are participation trophies of the galaxy. A few cadets laughed. Dara did not react. At least, not visibly. But she looked at him. And smiled. Not warmly. Not angrily. Patiently. Like someone hearing an old story told incorrectly. And that smile stayed in my mind longer than it should have. Because I could not classify it. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't defensive. It was knowing. That night, I reviewed human military archives. All of them I could access. Not just summaries. Not just highlights. Everything. And what I found did not feel like information. It felt like realization. Humans do not stop easily. Even in conditions where stopping would be logical. Even in conditions where survival probability drops below acceptable thresholds. They continue. Step by step. Action by action. Not always successfully. But consistently. It wasn't strength. It wasn't intelligence. It was something else. Something harder to define. Persistence without permission. And when I looked back at Dara Vasquez's file, I started to understand something uncomfortable. She wasn't failing individually. She was waiting for the system to matter less than the situation. And the Academy had not seen that yet. But it would. Soon. The annual live field exercise is not a simulation. That distinction matters. Because simulations forgive mistakes. Reality does not. The terrain was real. Uneven ground. Broken cover. Shifting light. Unstable movement paths. Everything unpredictable in the way real battlefields always are. 4 squads entered. 1 objective. Hold the central command tower. 3 hours. Whoever held it at the end. 1. Dara Vasquez led Squad 3. Rex Tolan was in her squad again. That alone would have been enough to create chaos. But this time, something was different. He wasn't leading. He was listening. The exercise began. 2 squads rushed the tower immediately. Predictable.
Fast.
Aggressive. 1 squad stayed back. Waiting. Letting others weaken each other. Classic strategy. Dara's squad moved south. Away from the tower. That immediately confused observers. Instructor O'Vellin frowned. What is she doing? No one answered. Because it didn't look logical. But Dara was not moving randomly. She was reading the field. Not the obvious paths. The hidden ones. The squad was ambushed at minute 11. 2 members eliminated.
Fast.
Clean. Effective enemy movement. Most squads would have collapsed here. O'Vellin said flatly. That squad is finished. But it wasn't. Not even close. Something changed. Rex Tolan stopped charging. He stopped speaking. He started listening. To Dara. She spoke in short instructions. Not emotional. Not loud. Precise. Directional. Controlled. And Rex Tolan nodded. That alone should have been impossible. A Vorkai warrior of his type does not follow quietly. He dominates. Or he ignores. But he followed. Dara split the squad. 1 part moved forward. 1 part circled wide. 1 part disappeared into terrain blind zones.
No confusión. No hesitation.
Just execution. Then Rex Tolan did something nobody expected. He walked. Straight toward the tower. Not running. Not charging. Walking. Fully exposed. And he started shouting. Loud Vorkai war calls. Every firing position on the field turned toward him. It was not chaos. It was design. A distraction. Perfect. Unintentional looking. But controlled. He absorbed fire. Hit after hit. His suit marked critical damage. He kept walking. Still shouting. Still drawing attention. And while everyone watched him, Dara moved. She entered a blind corridor. A 90 centimeters gap between overlapping firing zones. A space no one uses. Because no one notices it. But she had noticed. Before the exercise even started. Because she had read the footnotes. The ones everyone ignores. She moved through it flat against the rock. Left side already damaged by simulated fire. Still moving. Still calculating. At the same time, another squad occupied the tower. Strong defensive positioning. Multiple firing lines. Hard target. But Dara wasn't attacking it directly. She wasn't trying to force a win. She was removing structure. Rex Tolan collapsed near the tower perimeter. Still alive in the simulation. Still making noise. Still drawing attention. Exactly as planned. Sovathriel flanked from the rear. Eliminated defensive positions in under 30 seconds. Clean breach. Tower access opened. Dara reached the tower door. Entered.
No hesitation.
Inside, 2 defenders engaged her. She did not rush. She did not panic. She adapted. Angles. Movement. Positioning. Economy of motion. Then she ended it. Control panel activated. Signal changed. Tower secured. Silence followed on the observation deck. Not normal silence. Complete silence. No notes being taken. No side conversations. No movement. Then Rex Tolan, lying on the field, looked up. And said, "That is a soldier." No one disagreed. Later, during debrief, everything became clear. Too clear. Too late. She had read everything. Footnotes. Schematics.
Overlapping firing zone.
Blind corridors. Even behavioral patterns of Rex Tolan. She didn't react to chaos. She used it. Instructor O'Vellin finally said it out loud. We put her in the back of the class. Pause. We are idiots. No one argued. Not even him. That evening, I watched Human War archives again. Not summaries. Not reports. Footage. Real movement. Real soldiers. Real persistence. And I understood something the Academy had never taught properly. Humans do not fight to look strong. They fight to continue. Even when continuation makes no sense. Even when every system says stop. They don't stop. And Dara Vasquez was exactly that. She wasn't the strongest. She wasn't the fastest. She wasn't the loudest. She was the one who always found the next step. And that is what the Academy had failed to measure. 419 cycles. 4 every cycle before that. Because they measured performance. Not persistence. And persistence wins wars. Not rankings. Not assumptions. Not noise. Just movement. Step by step. Until the system breaks. Rex Tolan was right. But not just in that moment. He was right about what she was from the beginning. He just didn't understand it early enough. That is a soldier.